Hello everyone, Todd Michael Putnam here with the D&D Creative Table Designs, bringing another adventure together for you. This one I was really excited the way that it turned out. I had a concept idea and tried to map it out and see if I could turn the adventure into the table, if I could make it work. And I was very happy with the way that it came out. Real quick, I'll give you the overcap of the adventure, and then we'll go through the different items that I used in order to build it and to bring it to life. So if you can ever use any of those ideas on your own, that's fantastic. So the concept is very simple. Up here, all of this, of course, is below ground, represented being below ground in caverns. This here, you see these two sections here. These are two different levels of a basement underneath a mansion for nobility. And the concept of the adventure is very simple, that the players were invited to a party with the nobility to celebrate one of their previous victories. They hold a mock seance, and the seer actually manages to contact an outer realm of entropy and chaos. And unbeknownst to them, an actual rift opens up in a portal between the world of entropy, or the plane of entropy, and this realm. And the Lord of all and nothing, the Lord of entropy, steps through his chaos gate and immediately begins warping and corrupting this universe with his presence, and begins sending out his minions through the caverns below the mansion to spread his influence. And they go along doing their thing and corrupting stuff. And eventually, of course, they reach the basement. They break through the wall into the basement. I think I can get a shot of that. Can I do that from here? You might be able to see the broken wall that goes through there into the basement itself. I'll pull it up for a better view of that in a minute. It comes through into the basement, and the creatures of entropy come up and start slaughtering people. Of course, the players are there. They begin to fight back, and the adventure session is them fighting their way back, retaking the mansion, and then pushing through all of the underground caverns to clean all of that out until they get to fight the Lord of Entropy himself and close the gate. That's the basic concept of the adventure. Putting it together was a lot of fun, time consuming, but a lot of fun. Multiple sets. The first set here, actually we'll start over there. The first set is for where the players are at, is just your standard Dwarven Forge Classic tile set with some elevation blocks here. And I'm going to pull this up a little bit. This top section here is from a company called Zitterdes. It's all hard foam, and just painted it up, and it works great for you. Just lay something down in your inside of a structure for whatever it may be. So just painted that up. The some of the stuff here, that organ, I believe, is from Griffin Co. They make a lot of fantastic stuff. You should go check them out. I really, really enjoy them. I always got good quality products from Griffin Co. Those are just banners, I think, from A Song of Fire and Ice. I'm not sure if there's a game or something for it, but anyways, I saw them, so I got a bunch of banners and just painted those up. This whole section here, this top piece, comes off because this is one big piece. Obviously not the tables and stuff inside, but that comes off, and I pulled the center floor out so I don't have to keep pulling stuff off. But this is the first floor of the basement, which would have like food storage and things like that in there. And then the bottom floor, again, I have pulled off the top there, and I'm just using clear 12-inch by 12-inch plexiglass in order to mount across that. Clear 12-inch by 12-inch plexiglass to mount across to provide a solid base for that. And you can see that the chaos creatures have broken through the wall here and into the basement. They've already, I think we can get it, they've already slain at least one of the servants here, and they've set up an altar, and they've begun their chaotic rites. You can see some of the crazy creatures that they have. Some of these are, sorry about the ceiling fan light. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to get it with the lighting. But a lot of these creatures are just from various different games and stuff. Not necessarily even D&D related, but worked great for Cthulhu type monsters. So I snagged them and painted them up or whatever, and there you go. So here's a better view of one of them. He makes a good Cthulhu type monster, with tentacles and stuff. There's another dead servant that has been slain. She was going down obviously to get um, food stores or whatever it is, and these creatures caught them unaware. Over here, there's like some kind of a boss leader that they've slain. You can see some slain guards here in front of it as they go through, and he's got his adepts or sycophants or whatever they are following him about. And they're going this here is the treasure chamber for the Lord. This is where they store all their wealthy stuff. See, they got the barred gates. I want to say that door came from Dungeons of Doom. That particular set came from Dungeons of Doom from Dwarven Forge. So that covers that particular area there. Then the players would come out through this area here, and you can see there's a bottomless pit that they've got these twisted looking demonic moth type creatures. I really can't remember where I got them from, but they're fantastic. That are covering that thing. So the players have to kind of work their way, unless they can fly, they kind of have to work their way along the edges where there's these like blubbering mass type pieces. I found these guys on Etsy. Just what did I search for those? Aliens or demonic or Cthulhu or something like that. I just did a bunch of searches for that until I found some really weird looking pieces that just are pieces of horror essentially. Like, oops, there's one of the guys right there. This guy here is again from some game. Some other type of a game. I'm sure somebody will know what it is, but I just ran across them at random and then did a search for that game name again and found a whole bunch of them, and that's how I came across those things. So they'll work their way through this pit, and then there's an opening or a portal here, and there's some jumping stones that they have to go across because there's an actual endless void. The floor itself is dissipated, is dissolved into the ethers of nothingness. And creatures that they have to deal with here. This room here is just a portal that has been opened up to it. And there's these statues and these monuments and other smaller monuments, if I can say, like that one right there, kind of painted up. These things here I'm using as it's as these creatures begin taking over the area, they sort of mark their territory, and the morphing begins, where strange plant life, strange animals or hybrids or whatever start coming to life, and just dealing with the utterly bizarre. The players never knowing what they're going to come up against. In this particular room here, there's like an acid bath type scenario. And for the floor, there's another portal there, one of the smaller portals that just appears at random. That's the beauty of the Cthulhu and the N'Zoth / chaos entropy type stuff, is you can throw things in and out at random, and that utter randomness is just a reflection of the madness of the world that they live in, and it doesn't go by the normal rules of reality that as we understand it. So it just adds to the bizarre. So the floor plate here is from Dwarven Forge also, that acid bath. It's a flip, I think it's stone on the other side. And then just have the standard cavern tiles around it. And then this beautiful bugger right here, I found he was like one of the aliens. Got painted up. He's floating around. And right underneath him, a fantastic paint job by Nick Gomez, I'd like to say. My eyes are shot. I painted my first 700 minis. And then after that, my eyes I couldn't do it anymore. So I've been hiring out ever since. Nick has just done a magnificent job of bringing some of these creatures to life. I'll show some more of them in the future. Underneath him, just happy circumstance. I don't know, probably like 3 years ago, I saw somebody had done, I'm going to pull this top piece off. This is the mini. 3 years ago, I found this and a couple other ones where somebody just taken dice things and they had put stuff on it. And this one was supposed to represent poison, whereas if your character was covered in poison, you just put this on top of the character, and there you go. It was like a marker for poison. I never actually used it in game before, just never had the opportunity. But the color matches the green of that perfectly, and this particular mini happens to have the green globulates at the base that Nick just happened to paint them at. So it all works perfectly as if he's floating along and like he's oozing this acid droplets for wherever he goes. So that works out really well. This is another one of the creatures that Nick painted. The little skulls underneath there, and he's got them all greened up. So I just thought this would be a good room for him. It's kind of hard to sometimes get the camera to focus, but so that's that room. It's just acid-based creatures that levitate around and spit globs of acid and stuff at you, or noxious gases and all kinds of other things. Again, I just throw this like here. This is like an alien terrain plant life, so I just put those alien spines in there just to show that the world is slowly being morphed over into this entropy like state of chaos and bizarreness and twistedness. More alien stuff. Nick painted these too. Just random. It doesn't even have to have a purpose, or you can throw a purpose. It could be a giant egg sac. It could be a sleeping cocoon or something for a certain creature that it busts out of. You never know what it could be. It could be a form of plant life that does psychic attacks. You can make anything with those kind of creatures. And the same thing, again, these here little portals I found, or not portals, monuments that I found that got painted up. So it's just where entropy is marking its territory, so to speak. You just have these floating monoliths there, and that idea, straight up, I stole it from WoW for their N'Zoth before the Shadowlands or whatever releases. There's this Shadow Realm that's coming out and has these floating. I was like, wow, those look really cool. That'd be a great idea. So the best ideas are stolen, as they say. So I just took that and brought that in. Whatever spurs your creativity, that's what you do. This is another one of the creatures. You'll notice that he doesn't have any actual eyeballs. And I gotta say, I appreciate that it was painted that way, because it could be anything. They could be, again, these could be like egg sacs that are about to pop out that it lays off, or it could be freaking shooting lasers out of it. You have no idea what that creature is going to do. Just make up anything for that. Another room filled with the nasty creatures and stuff. These guys are a little bit different. If I can get there you go. That's a good shot of it right there. What an incredible paint job by Nick, bringing that to life. I mean, that just screams horror, screams entropy. Apologize for the shake of my hand on the camera. I just had some caffeine, and I normally don't have caffeine, so I'm all wigged out on you. But hopefully you can get a good view of what those creatures look like. Again, these monoliths here, just marking the territory up, just at random, something the players, they'll have to destroy in order to reclaim the territory. Over here, we have a really big bad guy and some other stuff. This guy is, words fail me on how beautiful this particular mini came out. The work that he did, and the craftsmanship of the mini itself, number one, and then the paint scheme colors that he chose, just really, if this isn't some kind of a traveling boss mob, I don't know what is. That's fantastic. This is that same mini as the ones that we were just looking at before, but with a slightly different color scheme to it. Could be a totally different monster, could be a variation of the one. That's the idea behind entropy, is you have 1,000 different shades of evil. And that's what that does. So these guys right here, like little Venus flytrap type, life-sized man-eating Venus flytrap plants. There, they'll go pretty good. This one here, it's a monument to Cthulhu that I have. I don't know if I can. It's a monument to Cthulhu there. That came out pretty good. Real happy with that. So just throwing all of these various different monsters in there, just constantly the players have no idea what any given creature is capable of doing because they've never seen it before. It just really adds to the fun as a DM and to the thrill of for the players that they literally don't know what to expect. And then of course they go into the main final boss battle room. You can see here these floating rock things come from the Dwarven Forge Underdoom, and they're just showstoppers. You gotta love those. But on top of that, I got a large mouse mat. That's exactly what that is. That is just a mouse mat that I found on Amazon. And I just looked at the colors of that and I said, man, that looks like Chaos Incarnate spreading out through, through everything. So I took that and used it as a negative floor space for the portal having been opened. And when you couple that with the floating stones from the Dwarven Forge Underdoom set, it just looks like pieces of the floor are breaking away, and it's eternal chaos and pandemonium and entropy in the void below is kind of the stage that I'm going for with that. Again, you got some of these another color variation of this particular monster, which means you could totally change what it is that it does. Some more of the floating monuments. Then these two guys here, the portal itself, and in front of it is the Lord of All and Nothing, who is just one creepy as hell looking guy. He's got the giant spikes, the giant claws coming out of him. Switch around to this side over here. That's a good view of him. He's got like this foot onto the right is normal. The one on his right foot is off to the side, but his left foot is normal. He's just a total creature of chaos. So he sits nicely right there, directing and controlling all of this insanity. And then of course there's the portal itself, which does pop open and you can take that green thing out. But that's the setup. That's what puts this all to life. That's how this goes. Apologies. These guys right here are, if I didn't mention, are from the. Let me think for a second. Skyless Realms Kickstarter. There we go. Sorry, it wasn't coming to me. Skyless Realms Kickstarter, and I just had them painted up to match the Dwarven Forge stuff. Stephanie did these particular ones for me. She did an outstanding job. They match absolutely perfectly. They really sell it, and that creates verticality. Even it creates the illusion of depth by giving a height. By adding a pseudo ceiling, even though there isn't really one, it gives players an idea of the scale. That the ceiling's not just 10 feet above. You're in an actual cavernous type situation. Same thing with this. By adding that one big piece there, it really gives you an idea of height, of scale, and also helps give the feeling of this one creature that's floating around. It just adds to the epic scale of things and the horrific grandeur of what's going on. So, and I have to say, with a set like this, with this kind of a scenario going on, and I know this is a longer YouTube video, so apologies for that. I usually try and keep them a little bit shorter. I have to say there's something that goes hand in hand with this. This is the perfect kind of a scenario that I use my stat trackers. Stat trackers there's like 300 and some odd cards. This is the main box itself. I don't know if I can open that up. There you go. It's like 300 some odd cards in there that's all alphabetized and whatnot. You have all kinds of stuff. And the standard card is like this. It just goes over your DM screen. And like, here's one. I just pulled one out at random. Giant Scorpion. Okay. So that's what the players would see. And then on the DM side, it's got all this fantastic information. It's got the armor class. It's got the hit points. It's got the speed, all that kind of stuff. I actually have some homebrew rules that I use, and I don't use armor class anymore. And I look forward to releasing those hopefully next month. I use something besides armor class. Really adds to the excitement of the game. But that aside, these are all your standard D&D rules, your statistics for your 5e monsters, including the attack bonuses and any special powers that they have, all right there in an easy laid out format that you can see the damage. The damage is done in nice red there, so you can pick it out in a heartbeat for what it is. If there's a extra thing like you can grapple stuff or it adds poison, it's right there for you. The number of attacks in parentheses ×2. It's really right there for you in their standard cards. But the reason why I bring this up is because they also ship with blank cards for characters, so you can put your characters on there, and then also blank cards for monsters, and which is exactly what you want for this kind of stuff, where you can create your own monsters entirely, and you just map them out onto this card, and then label it and put it up there, and you can just put, unnamed horror 1 on the other side, and the players will have no idea what they're facing, but you have all the information that you need right there for your adventure. And then, of course, this all doubles as an initiative tracker. If you're using a DM screen, most people are, but not everybody is. If you're using a DM screen, then the initiative tracker, you have, your character ones in one, you put your characters across there, and you put your monsters based by initiative order, and you just go right through, and all I do is I just slide them over. Okay, this person's done, and I slide it over. Go to the next person, and when I'm all done, slide them back over to the right a little bit again, and start from the beginning. The stat trackers really do work perfectly for that. It's a way of keeping all the information organized. It's a way of adding completely new stuff that isn't in 5e, but you can still put it in all the same exact format as the other 5e monsters, so you know where everything is. It's really, really just an awesome value. My personal opinion is stat trackers are a no-brainer. So there it is. Sorry for the long one. Ooh, we're closing in on 22 minutes. I apologize for the length of this particular talk, but I really was happy with the way this came out. And I'd look forward to hearing what you guys think about it, good, bad, or indifferent. Let me know. If it inspires you for any ideas or ideas that you have on your own, always let us know, especially on D&D Creative Table Designs. That's what we're there for. Creativity runs on inspiration. So I hope you guys find this inspiring. Thanks, and I'll see you again next video.